They had the fame, the money, and the kind of beauty the world envied. But for some celebrities, it still wasn't enough. In the relentless chase for youth and perfection, they turned to plastic surgery, hoping to stay forever flawless. Instead, many ended up unrecognizable, their once iconic looks replaced by swollen lips, frozen smiles, and haunting regret. Hollywood has always worshipped beauty, but at what cost? Jackie Stallone, a cosmetic odyssey in 3 acts. Hollywood has seen many stars, but none quite like Jackie Stallone, a woman who read horoscopes by day and rewrote her own face by night. As the matriarch of a famously chiseled family, yes, Sylvester's mom, Jackie wasn't going to let age write her ending in fine lines and wrinkles. So she did what any self-respecting astrologer/wrestling promoter might do. She made her face a battleground in the war against time. Unfortunately, time fought back and won a few rounds. Once blessed with strong cheekbones and a steel will, Jackie's transformation soon made headlines for all the wrong reasons. She herself joked about the aftermath, saying she looked like a chipmunk hoarding walnuts. Cheeks puffed to celestial proportions, lips that had clearly lost their way, and eyebrows that threatened to take flight, Jackie was, in her own words, the poster child for cosmetic overkill. But unlike many Hollywood victims of vanity, Jackie owned it. She didn't hide. Instead, she tap-danced 3 times a week, lifted weights with a personal trainer, and played classical piano like a diva in denial. Still, behind the laughter and lifted skin was a woman who defied the rules. She didn't age gracefully, she aged spectacularly. Jackie declared herself a role model for celebrities terrified of growing old, claiming she became more popular with every wrinkle she refused to accept. And maybe that's the legacy she leaves behind, not just as a warning label for plastic surgery gone rogue, but as a reminder that you can grow old, go wild, and still waltz your way into the afterlife with a wink, a smirk, and a face that says, "I did it my way, even if it cost me my natural expression." Linda Evangelista, the supermodel who got ice-cold burned. Linda Evangelista once ruled the fashion world like a queen in a crown of cheekbones. She was the face every photographer dreamed of, the model who wouldn't get out of bed for less than $10,000. But when she tried to freeze time, literally, her career and confidence came to a screeching halt. In a twist crueler than a runway heel snap, Linda fell victim to cool sculpting, a trendy fat-freezing procedure that promised no surgery, no downtime, and no regrets. What she got instead was a disfigured face, hardened bulges, and a medical term that sounded like sci-fi horror, paradoxical adipose hyperplasia. The treatment was supposed to make her jawline snatched, not stiff. But instead of shrinking, her fat cells mutinied and grew. Lumps emerged where sleek contours once lived. Her supermodel silhouette was sabotaged by a machine that claimed to be safe, FDA approved, and, oh yes, virtually miraculous. Virtually being the operative word. After 7 sessions, Linda didn't just lose volume. She lost her career, her identity, and for a while, even her will to be seen. Once envied, she now hid behind scarves and silence. But silence never suited a woman who once commanded catwalks with a glance. In 2022, she emerged from the shadows, not in stilettos but in full legal armor, filing a $50 million lawsuit against the makers of cool sculpting. And suddenly, Linda became something even rarer than a supermodel comeback, a cautionary tale wrapped in courage. Her story shattered the fantasy of flawless fixes and reminded the world that beauty shortcuts can come at a cost, sometimes cold, sometimes cruel, always calculated. Linda Evangelista didn't just survive the ice, she made sure the world felt its chill too. Yulia Tarasevich, the beauty queen who couldn't blink. Yulia Tarasevich was once the picture of Russian glamour, a beauty queen, influencer, and proud owner of a face that could stop traffic, or at least earn thousands of likes. But her journey from Botox to courtroom reads less like a makeover story and more like a medical horror flick. Seeking a subtle refresh before a modeling competition, Yulia signed up for a facelift, eyelid surgery, and a mini liposuction. What she got in return? Swelling, nerve damage, and the unsettling ability to sleep with her eyes wide open. Yes, you heard that right. Yulia literally couldn't close her eyes or smile after the procedure. Her once expressive face now felt like it had been paused, frozen mid-emotion. According to her doctors, the complications were caused by a rare autoimmune disease. Yulia wasn't buying it. She'd had previous procedures with no problems, and unless scleroderma could be triggered by poor surgical judgment, she wasn't convinced. Instead of contouring her way to the crown, Yulia found herself trapped in a legal battle, suing the clinic for negligence and malpractice. The surgeon, naturally, blamed genetics, but Yulia fought back with photos, public outrage, and a face that, while no longer pageant-ready, was headline-worthy. Her story went viral not because of how she looked, but because of how she couldn't look. No smiles, no blinks, just frozen beauty gone very, very wrong. Yulia's tale is more than just cosmetic tragedy. It's a reminder that behind every Instagram filter is a risk, and behind every surgical refresh might lurk a result you'll regret. For now, Yulia remains both a cautionary tale and an advocate, blinking back at an industry that promises perfection but sometimes delivers paralysis. If you find this video interesting, comment number 1 or number 2 if you want me to do another topic simple like that, right? Thank you. Laura Avila, the bride who never made it down the aisle. Laura Avila dreamed of 2 things: a perfect wedding and a perfect nose. Only one of them was supposed to involve anesthesia. In 2018, the 36-year-old Texan crossed the border into Mexico for a rhinoplasty and breast implant replacement. 2-for-1 beauty deal, right? But instead of returning home with a refined profile and new curves, Laura was wheeled into a nightmare no surgeon could undo. Minutes after anesthesia was administered, something went terribly wrong. Her heart stopped, her brain swelled, and the clinic that promised enhancement delivered tragedy. What happened? Well, according to her family, the anesthesia was injected in the wrong place, straight into her spine. That's not just malpractice, that's madness. She was transferred to multiple hospitals, each more expensive than the last, as her organs began to fail one by one. Her fiancé, Enrique, who had planned a beach wedding in Tulum, was now facing the unthinkable, turning his future bride's honeymoon into a fight for justice. Laura was kept alive on life support for days, but in the end, her family made the heartbreaking decision to let her go. Instead of scattering rose petals at her wedding, Enrique scattered her ashes in the sea, right where they'd once planned to say I do. Her story didn't just shake up the beauty industry. It blew the lid off the booming business of medical tourism. Because when the cost of a cheaper surgery is your life, suddenly that discount comes with a deadly price tag. Laura Avila became more than a bride, more than a cautionary tale. She became the voice that screamed from beyond the silence, "Don't gamble your life for a prettier selfie." Priscilla Presley, the queen of rock and roll and questionable fillers. Once the eternal muse of Elvis Presley, Priscilla Presley had a face that could launch 1,000 love songs. But somewhere between Love Me Tender and Hollywood luncheons, she signed up for something even more daring than dating the king. Experimental cosmetic injections. And we're not talking your average Botox. We're talking back-alley-grade silicone, the kind used to lubricate car parts. Yes, that's not a typo. Car parts. In the early 2000s, Priscilla reportedly became a patient of one Dr. Daniel Serrano, except doctor might be generous. He wasn't a licensed physician in the US, but he was a big fan of making women's cheeks look like inflated pool toys. Serrano promised an alternative to Botox so advanced it hadn't even been approved because it was never meant for human faces. The results? Think wax museum after a heat wave. Observers noticed something odd about Priscilla's cheeks. They didn't move. Her eyes seemed smaller, not from aging, but from volume-packed fillers creeping up like a slow cosmetic landslide. While Priscilla never confirmed the full list of treatments, cosmetic surgeons speculated freely: facelifts, laser resurfacing, and enough filler to stock a beauty expo. But here's the twist. Priscilla didn't vanish. She walked red carpets, ran business empires, and stared the rumors in the face, even if that face occasionally stared back a little too stiffly. Despite the backlash, she never apologized for choosing her own path. In a world that worships eternal youth, maybe she just took a detour through a garage. Her story stands as a glamorized cautionary tale. Beauty isn't cheap, and when your filler has an engine number, it's time to get a second opinion. Priscilla Presley may not have the same face she had in the 60s, but one thing's certain: she's still rock and roll royalty, just with a few extra octane points. Donatella Versace, the diva who chose Botox over broccoli. Donatella Versace doesn't just wear fashion, she is fashion. The platinum blonde icon with the tan of a Floridian sun god and the lips of a Bratz doll became more than a designer. She became a living logo. But behind the gold safety pins and glam gowns lies a tale of transformation that would make even Medusa blink. Her journey to aesthetic infamy began young. At 11, she lightened her hair because her big brother Gianni said it looked cool. From there, the evolution accelerated faster than one of her runway models in stilettos. By the 2000s, her face had become a public guessing game. How much is contour and how much is collagen? The answer, according to several plastic surgeons who've never met her but love to speculate, is a lot. Botox, fillers, laser resurfacing, Donatella's beauty regimen reads like a dermatologist's shopping list. But here's the kicker: she's not hiding it. In fact, she once famously quipped that natural beauty is for vegetables. You read that right. Donatella doesn't want to look like a zucchini, she wants to look like a Versace, and so she does. Sculpted, surreal, and unapologetically synthetic. Her critics say she's gone too far. Her fans say she's a symbol of owning your image. And Donatella? She shrugs, pulls on her leather, and struts into the spotlight like a cyborg goddess with a couture soul. Love her or judge her, you can't deny she's rewritten what it means to age in fashion, not gracefully but defiantly, on 6-inch heels and with a forehead smoother than silk organza. In the end, Donatella Versace isn't trying to look younger. She's trying to look Donatella Air. Mission accomplished. Dennis Avner, the man who chased his inner tiger and caught it. Dennis Avner, also known as Stalking Cat, wasn't interested in six-pack abs or a Hollywood nose. No, he had something far more exotic in mind: becoming a tiger. Not metaphorically, a literal feline transformation. Forget Instagram filters. Dennis wanted whiskers, a split lip, and a tail that wagged. And he got them. This former Navy veteran and computer technician from Michigan took one look at the modern world and said, "No thanks. I'll take wild animal, please." Guided by a Native American spiritual belief that his totem was a cat, Dennis took spiritual expression to the extreme. Via subdermal implants, whisker anchors, a flattened nose, tattoos covering his face, and even pointed ears. Oh, and let's not forget the mechanized tail. Yes, you read that right. His back end had hydraulics. Working with body modification legends like Steve Haworth, he underwent at least 14 extreme procedures, transforming himself into a spectacle somewhere between National Geographic and sci-fi cosplay. But this wasn't just shock value. For Dennis, it was authenticity. Why settle for blending in when you could stalk through life in full tiger mode? He lived quietly, ironically, as a computer programmer. But his look made global headlines, earning him spots on Ripley's Believe It or Not and Larry King Live. In 2008, he was awarded a Guinness World Record for most permanent transformations to look like an animal, a record that no one's been rushing to break. Was it extreme? Absolutely. Was it a warning sign? Maybe. But Dennis Avner became a legend not for pretending to be someone else, but for daring to become something completely his own. He didn't purr. He roared. And the world, whether confused or inspired, definitely listened. Pete Burns, the man who spun right round into cosmetic chaos. If Madonna reinvented herself through music, Pete Burns did it through scalpels. The former frontman of Dead or Alive didn't just give us the iconic hit, You Spin Me Round. He became the spinning top of cosmetic transformations, whirling from glam rocker to cautionary tale in under 300 surgeries. Yes, you read that right. 300. It all began innocently enough, a nose job to fix a broken schnoz. But Pete quickly discovered something more addictive than fame. Filler. The lips got puffier, the cheeks got sharper, and the face? Well, it started looking like it was carved from melted candle wax by a sculptor with a vendetta. But Pete wasn't fazed. When most people would have stopped at their third complication, he said, "More, please," and charged it to his life savings. By the end, Pete's cosmetic journey became a Shakespearean tragedy, set in a plastic surgeon's office. He battled infections, botched procedures, and a smile that could rival the Joker's. But through it all, he owned it. He went on TV with bandages still fresh and declared himself a work of art in progress. Critics called it obsession. Pete called it expression. He once said, "I'm not trying to look like anyone else. I'm just trying to look like me." The question was, which version of me were we on by then? Number 273? His passing in 2016 from cardiac arrest ended the most extreme metamorphosis in pop history. But Pete Burns didn't die anonymous. He left behind music, madness, and a mugshot of surgical mayhem that warned future fame chasers, reinvention is cool, until your face forgets what original ever meant. Lindsay Colosimo, the makeover that nearly took everything. Lindsay Colosimo wasn't looking for trouble, just a little tune-up before turning 40. You know, the classic birthday bundle, tummy tuck, breast reduction, and a Brazilian butt lift. A mommy makeover, they call it. But what she got instead was the medical equivalent of a horror sequel, Nightmare on Recovery Bed. After a grueling 5.5-hour surgery in Mexico, Lindsay woke up to something far more terrifying than post-op swelling, pain, numb legs, and a black spot beneath her bandages that screamed danger louder than her silent hospital room. Alone, confused, and with no doctor in sight, she realized her cosmetic dream had morphed into a flesh and blood emergency. The diagnosis? Necrosis. A charming condition where your tissue dies, as in, dies. The infection spread fast. So fast they had to remove one of her nipples and milk ducts, like a scene from a medical thriller gone rogue. And just when she thought the worst was over, her body said, plot twist. Back in the US, her wounds reopened and welcomed a brand new bacterial infection, the kind that doesn't show up in beauty magazines. The medical bills? Enough to bankrupt a small country. The emotional toll? Let's just say Lindsay stopped looking in mirrors and started praying in ERs. But against all odds, and with enough stitches to knit a sweater, she survived. Lindsay's story isn't about vanity. It's about how chasing perfection without proper care can cost more than you ever imagined. She didn't get the curves she wanted, but she earned something rarer: perspective. And maybe a new motto for all would be, beauty tourists, if the surgery is cheap, run, don't walk. Raji Nareen Singh, the woman who survived cement, sealant, and self-discovery. Raji Nareen Singh didn't want to become famous. She just wanted to feel beautiful. But in her journey as a transgender woman navigating the minefield of cosmetic access in early 2000s Miami, Raji met the wrong doctor with the wrong syringe, and the results were wrong in every possible way. Enter the Duchess, not a royal, but a self-proclaimed filler expert in the underground beauty scene who whipped up a cocktail of substances that belonged in a garage, not a face. Concrete, mineral oil, super glue, tire sealant. Yes, tire sealant. Raji wasn't injected with beauty, she was injected with Home Depot. Soon, her cheeks, lips, and chin began to harden and swell into painful, unnatural shapes. The reflection in the mirror didn't offer confidence. It offered confusion and fear. But Raji didn't hide. Instead, she stepped into the spotlight, scars and all, and said, "This is what happened to me." She became a media sensation, appearing on Botched, sharing her truth, and letting real surgeons do the work of undoing what an imposter had done. It took years of procedures to remove just some of the material. Her face would never fully return to normal, but Raji redefined normal. She became an icon of survival in a world obsessed with perfection, a proud voice for the trans community, and a living reminder that beauty, when pursued recklessly, can disfigure. But truth, when shared bravely, can heal. Raji Nareen Singh didn't just survive a botched face. She faced the world with it and changed the conversation about beauty, identity, and the price of being seen. Anastasia Pokreshchuk, the self-made queen of cheeks and syringes. Anastasia Pokreshchuk isn't just another influencer from Kiev. She's a one-woman cosmetic revolution with enough cheek filler to qualify as a national landmark. While the rest of us dab concealer or maybe flirt with a laser treatment, Anastasia said, "Why wait for a professional when you've got YouTube and a dream?" That's right. This fearless woman taught herself how to inject filler into her own face. With the confidence of a surgeon and the training of, well, a total amateur, she became a viral sensation, and a walking, talking before and after that never quite found the after. At just 26, she started with a few tweaks. A little Botox here, some lip plumping there. Then came the cheeks. Big cheeks, gigantic cheeks, planetary cheeks. The kind of cheeks you could use to deflect Wi-Fi signals or bounce moonlight. And she loves them. In fact, she proudly proclaimed her mission to hold the world record for biggest cheeks on Earth. Guinness, take note. Doctors? They've begged her to stop. She just smiles, awkwardly because facial mobility is limited, and loads another syringe. She claims she sterilizes everything herself and follows strict procedures. Just like a real medical professional if that professional were in a bathroom with a selfie ring light and 10,000 Instagram followers. But behind the spectacle is something oddly admirable. Anastasia isn't chasing anyone else's beauty standard. She's building her own, cheek by cheek. In a world of copy-paste influencers, she's unapologetically unique, proudly unnatural, and entirely unforgettable. Love her or cringe, Anastasia Pokreshchuk isn't here to blend in. She's here to fill out. And trust us, there's still room for more. Mickey Rourke, the boxer who fought his face and lost. Mickey Rourke didn't get plastic surgery to chase youth or fame. He got it because life punched him, literally. Once a smoldering Hollywood heartthrob, Mickey swapped red carpets for boxing rings in the 90s, hoping to relive his teenage dreams. He left undefeated, but his face didn't. After multiple brutal matches, 2 broken noses, a crushed cheekbone, a split tongue, Mickey returned to Hollywood with a face that whispered, "Ouch." So, he went under the knife. But instead of restoring the leading man the world once knew, his surgeries seemed to sculpt a stranger. 5 nose jobs and 1 cheekbone reconstruction later, Mickey Rourke emerged as, well, someone else entirely. In a moment of painful honesty, he admitted he went to the wrong guy for his facial repairs, and the wrong guy did him very wrong. His once rugged charm gave way to an oddly taut, almost waxy appearance. Think Ken doll after a microwave accident. Hollywood gasped. Twitter roasted. Mickey, meanwhile, shrugged and went back to training, acting, and on some days just existing. But here's the thing. Beneath the shifting cheekbones and the endless speculation, Mickey Rourke still glows with a kind of tragic defiance. He didn't try to erase time for vanity. He was just trying to rebuild himself after life knocked him down. And if the reconstruction didn't quite work, so be it. In a town obsessed with perfection, Mickey remains imperfectly human. A cautionary tale? Maybe. But also a man who chose to live on his own terms, even if the mirror didn't always agree. Tara McConaughey, the human Barbie who keeps upgrading herself. Tara McConaughey didn't just want to look like a Barbie, she wanted to become the firmware update. Hailing from Melbourne, Australia, this 33-year-old nurse turned celebrity spent over $200,000 and counting, transforming herself into a walking, talking fashion doll. With 5 breast augmentations, 6 nose jobs, and enough filler to inflate a bounce house, Tara isn't chasing beauty. She's building a brand. She struts the streets like a real-life CGI character. Tiny waist, enormous lips, cleavage designed to defy gravity, and outfits that look like they were sewn together by a glitter-obsessed toddler. Whether wrapped in a rainbow fur coat or squeezed into latex pants, Tara doesn't do subtle. Her presence is a neon sign blinking, "Look at me," and honestly, it's working. But don't mistake this for a phase. Tara's in it for the long haul. She's already appeared on shows like Botched and Mirror Mirror, gleefully flaunting her upgrades like a tech launch. And she's far from done. Her next goal? Boost her breasts to a jaw-dropping size 15C. Doctors have warned her she's too underweight. She says, challenge accepted. Critics call her delusional. Tara calls herself a personal art project. And maybe that's the real story here. In a world obsessed with filtered faces and plastic perfection, Tara isn't hiding her choices. She's turning them into a lifestyle. Is it extreme? Absolutely. But in her mind, she's not chasing Barbie. She is Barbie, just with Wi-Fi and a filler subscription. Tara Jane isn't trying to fit in. She's trying to stand out so much you can't look away. And whether you love it, hate it, or can't stop scrolling, she wins. Hang Miyoku, the beauty addict who injected cooking oil into her face. Hang Miyoku once lit up stages in South Korea as a singer and model, her features delicate, her skin like porcelain. But her craving for beauty didn't end with admiration. It escalated into addiction. By 28, Hang was already a plastic surgery regular, even moving to Japan to continue her quest for eternal youth. When doctors finally said, enough, she found someone who didn't. And that's when her story went from makeover to full-blown nightmare. Desperate to stay fresh, she convinced a shady practitioner to inject industrial silicone into her face. Not only that, but they gifted her the tools to do it herself, vials, syringes, and a license to ruin. When the silicone ran out, she turned to the next best thing, cooking oil. Yes, the same stuff used for frying dumplings became her DIY dermal filler. Her face ballooned, swelled beyond recognition. Her own parents couldn't recognize her. Doctors were horrified. The media was obsessed. Donations poured in from shocked viewers who saw her on Korean TV. Surgeons managed to remove some of the foreign substances, just enough to reduce the size of her face. But the damage was permanent. Today, Hang lives a humble life working in a second-hand clothing shop. Her fame faded, but her story hauntingly alive. She's no longer chasing mirrors. Instead, she carries the scars, literal and emotional, of what happens when obsession replaces self-worth. Hang Miyoku didn't just break the rules of beauty, she shattered the limits of what desperation can do when nobody says, stop. Her face became a warning label. Her life, a living lesson. When you inject the impossible, don't expect a beautiful ending. Carol Bryan, the woman who trusted the needle and paid with her face. Carol Bryan wanted what millions of women want, a little freshening up. At 47, she was vibrant, confident, and ready for a minor cosmetic boost. A touch of filler here, a little volume there. What she didn't sign up for was permanent blindness in one eye and a face that no longer felt like her own. In 2009, Carol underwent routine dermal filler injections. Or so she thought. What actually went into her face was a cocktail of chaos, 2 different types of filler, one of which included silicone. The result? Her forehead and cheeks swelled like they were auditioning for a B horror movie. Distorted, unrecognizable, and terrifying. No filter could fix this. As her face grew more grotesque with each failed attempt to fix it, Carol did what many wouldn't admit. She hid. She shut herself away, ashamed, suicidal, letting only her daughter see what had become of her. It wasn't vanity anymore. It was survival. By 2013, desperation led her to a craniofacial surgeon, but the damage was already done. A risky reconstructive surgery left her blind in one eye, and it took years, plus multiple skin grafts and a partial facial transplant, just to rebuild what was lost. Today, Carol Bryan doesn't chase beauty. She chases truth. She became an advocate, a speaker, a warning wrapped in wisdom. She's no longer trying to look young. She's trying to make sure no one else suffers the way she did. Because in the end, Carol didn't just lose her looks. She lost her identity, her vision, and for a time, her will to live. But what she gained? A purpose bigger than any mirror could ever reflect. Farrah Abraham, the teen mom who grew up and swelled up on camera. Farrah Abraham isn't just a reality TV star. She's a walking time capsule of cosmetic evolution. First introduced to the world as the overachieving teen on 16 and pregnant, Farrah quickly realized that while raising a child was hard, raising your cheekbones was just a credit card swipe away. It started innocently, a nose job, a breast augmentation. But as her fame ballooned, so did her face. Her Instagram followers noticed before she did. Smooth skin like porcelain, lips puffier than a Kardashian's handbag, and cheeks so plump they could store winter grain. By 2022, one festive selfie shocked even her most loyal fans. Was that Farrah or a wax sculpture melting in the warmth of a Christmas tree? Her followers mourned the old Farrah. You know, the one with human facial expressions. Commenters begged her to stop, but Farrah had already RSVP'd to the next injectable party. She's admitted to a long list of procedures, breast implants, a chin implant, rhinoplasty, Botox, lip injections, butt enhancements, the usual cosmetic bingo card. And while critics cringe, Farrah remains fiercely unapologetic. Her logic: if you can Photoshop your life, why not your body? But beneath the filters and filler lies a strange kind of tragedy. Farrah wasn't trying to shock the world. She was trying to perfect herself in it. In a culture that hands fame to the most filtered, she simply followed the algorithm. Today, Farrah is still in the spotlight, still defending her choices, still swelling in places God never intended. And whether you see her as a cautionary tale or a cosmetic crusader, one thing's clear: Farrah Abraham didn't just grow up on TV, she reconstructed herself there, one syringe at a time. Rachel Napier, the filler party that nearly took her lips and her life. Rachel Napier was your average 29-year-old, ambitious, stylish, and curious enough to accept an invite to a Botox and filler party. Yes, a party. The kind where champagne flows and syringes fly. What could possibly go wrong when someone injects your face next to a cheese board? What began as a fun night with friends turned into a horror show faster than you can say discount lips. The beautician, armed with confidence and apparently zero medical training, accidentally injected filler into an artery in Rachel's lip. Within hours, her lips ballooned to 4 times their normal size. She looked less like a beauty queen and more like an allergic reaction in a Halloween costume. Rushed to the hospital, Rachel was met with wide-eyed doctors who had never seen anything like it. 3 of them confirmed the verdict: either dissolve the filler immediately or lose the entire upper lip. No pressure. What followed was weeks of pain, multiple dissolving injections, and a 3-month-long recovery. But Rachel didn't just heal, she went full warrior mode. She turned her trauma into advocacy, demanding better regulations in the beauty industry. No more rogue injectors. No more kitchen table procedures. No more party deals with life-altering consequences. Now Rachel isn't just a survivor, she's a crusader for safe beauty, proving that vanity might be skin-deep, but courage goes all the way to the bone. Because sometimes, the price of plump lips isn't a few $100. It's your identity, your safety, and if you're not lucky, your face. Simon Cowell, the talent judge who gave his face a red X. Simon Cowell once made a career out of judging others' appearances, usually with a raised eyebrow and a brutal one-liner. But in a delicious twist of fate, it was his appearance that became the real audition in recent years. The famously sharp-tongued X Factor mogul shocked fans when he reappeared looking, well, let's just say refreshed wasn't the word. With skin pulled tighter than his favorite black t-shirt, lips suspiciously plush, and cheekbones that looked like they were carved by AI, Simon's new look left people wondering, is this the man who gave us One Direction? Or a wax figure escaping Madame Tussauds? To his credit, Simon came clean. Sort of. He admitted to overdoing it with fillers and confessed he no longer recognized himself in the mirror. The final straw? His young son, Eric, was reportedly frightened by his face. When your kid reacts to your new look like it's a Halloween mask, it's time to reassess. So Simon did the unthinkable. He reversed some of the work. He dissolved his fillers, ditched the heavy procedures, and pivoted to a healthier lifestyle. Diet, hydration, exercise. Radical, we know. And yet, even now, Simon Cowell walks a tightrope between looking youthful and looking like he's auditioning to play his own clone. But give the man credit, at least he owned it. In a world where most stars deny the obvious, Simon took the stage, faced the judges, the public, and said, yeah, I messed up. In the end, he may not have found the fountain of youth, but he did rediscover something even rarer in Hollywood: self-awareness. Nevin Ciganovich, the stylist who got a nose job and an unexpected erection. In the chaotic world of reality TV and plastic surgery, Nevin Ciganovich is something of a legend. The 45-year-old Croatian stylist and media personality has made a name, and several faces, for himself through relentless reinvention. But even he couldn't have predicted that one of his procedures would lead to a medically induced erection. It all started with a routine rhinoplasty, his third to be exact, performed in Iran because, budget nose jobs are always a safe bet. But post-op, Nevin noticed something wasn't quite right down there. He developed priapism, a rare and very awkward side effect involving a painful, persistent erection. No, it wasn't the result of excitement over his new nose. It was an allergic reaction to the anesthesia. Cue panic. Nevin had to rush back to Belgrade for urgent medical treatment. Because apparently, you can't fix your face while your body throws a party you didn't RSVP to. But does this man slow down? Never. Even while navigating this very upright complication, Nevin remained undeterred in his quest for perfection. He's still planning just one more surgery to complete his transformation, and no surprise, still chasing international fame. His story is equal parts cautionary tale and performance art. Because let's be honest, it takes a special kind of dedication to risk both your face and your everything else for the spotlight. Nevin isn't just altering his body, he's rewriting what it means to suffer for beauty, and he's doing it with a smirk, a selfie, and occasionally a medically dangerous boner. Cardi B, the rap queen, who took out the trash from her backside. Cardi B doesn't mince words. Whether it's in her lyrics, her Instagram lives, or her very public plastic surgery confessions, the Bronx-born rap superstar keeps it real. So when she told fans she had her illegal butt implants removed and warned them to never do what she did, you knew she wasn't playing. The story? Back in her stripper days, Cardi got butt injections in a stranger's basement for just $800. That's right, less than a new iPhone to risk your entire behind. The filler? 95% biopolymer, aka the kind of stuff you'd expect in a tire shop, not your body. The woman who injected her? Reportedly linked to a patient death. And yet, Cardi survived it all, until her body said, enough. In 2022, she underwent surgery to get the biopolymers removed. The process was grueling and painful, like can't sit down for weeks kind of painful. But she didn't just keep it private, she told the world. Why? Because Cardi isn't just a chart topper, she's a cautionary tale wrapped in Chanel and attitude. And no, she's not anti-surgery. She's pro-safety. If you don't like something and you feel like it's holding you back, fix it, she says. Just don't do it in someone's kitchen. It's vintage Cardi B, brutally honest, a little wild, but deeply human. She's been built, unbuilt, and rebuilt again. Not just physically, but emotionally too. So while her butt may be smaller now, her message is bigger than ever. Glow up, but do it smart. Katie Price, the pageant queen who turned her body into a loyalty card. Katie Price, also known as Jordan in her glamour model heyday, isn't just a woman. She's a walking timeline of plastic surgery trends. From the late 90s to now, she's had more makeovers than a teen rom-com montage. Breast implants? She's had more of those than most people have birthdays. It all started in 1999 when she upgraded from a 32B to a 32DD. Harmless enough, right? But by the time she hit 45, Katie wasn't aging gracefully. She was updating aggressively. Multiple rhinoplasties, lip fillers, facelifts, Botox, brow lifts, you name it. Her body has become a rotating canvas of surgical art, and some critics might say surgical chaos. By 2019, her annual breast surgeries became so routine they could have been on a subscription plan. Some of her implants are reportedly 4.4 pounds each, leading plastic surgeons to sound the alarm about spinal damage. But Katie? She just smiles, painfully of course, and books the next appointment. Her public appearances are part red carpet, part science experiment. At one award show, even die-hard fans couldn't recognize her. But Katie never flinched. "I do what I want with my body," she says, and she means it. Critics call her a cautionary tale. Fans call her brave. But in truth, Katie Price is something else entirely. A product of a culture that rewards the extreme, worships the artificial, and fears the natural. So while the world debates whether she's gone too far, Katie's already booked her next enhancement. Because for her, beauty isn't a destination. It's a lifelong project. Jordan James Park, the lip king who turned obsession into a brand. If Instagram had a royal court, Jordan James Park would be seated proudly on a golden throne made of lip filler. The 27-year-old British makeup artist didn't just want to look like Kim Kardashian, he wanted to out-Kardashian her. With over $170,000 poured into cosmetic procedures, Jordan didn't chase perfection. He chased spectacle. His journey started innocently enough, a little plumping here, some Botox there. But once the compliments started rolling in, and the Instagram likes followed, Jordan went all in. 4 nose jobs, a chin implant, upper eyelid surgery, liposuction, lip lifts, more lip filler than most clinics order in a year. The result? A face so exaggerated it could moonlight as a Snapchat filter. His signature look, ballooned lips, razor-sharp cheekbones, and skin smoother than an iPhone screen, has sparked everything from awe to horror. When he appeared on the reality show Botched, even veteran surgeons Paul Nassif and Terry Dubrow blinked twice, and that's saying something. But Jordan didn't flinch. "This is art," he declared. "This is me." Doctors warned him to stop. Fans begged him to take a break. The tabloids roasted him. Yet Jordan kept going, one injection at a time. Because this wasn't self-destruction. It was self-expression in the age of followers, filters, and fame by syringe. He's fully aware he's a walking headline, and he embraces it. Because in Jordan's world, beauty isn't about balance, it's about impact. Whether you find him fabulous or frightening, one thing's certain, you'll remember his face. And honestly, that's kind of the point. Barbara Eden, the genie who rubbed the lamp of youth, and maybe a syringe too. Barbara Eden isn't just a woman. She's a legend, a television time capsule, and possibly the last living person who can say she was once a genie and still look like one. At over 90 years old, Barbara has defied gravity, time, and every skincare myth known to mankind. The question isn't if she's had work done. It's how she managed to look better than most millennials. Ever since she floated out of a bottle in I Dream of Jeannie, Barbara Eden has captivated audiences. And somehow, she's still doing it, just without a wrinkle in sight. Observers have long whispered about the usual suspects: Botox, facelifts, skin resurfacing. But Barbara? She floats above it all with a smile so serene it could have been frozen in time, or gently tugged by a very discreet plastic surgeon. Her skin? Radiant. Her figure? Suspiciously perky. Her bust? Let's just say gravity must have made a separate peace agreement. Yet there are no visible signs of overdone surgery, no frozen expressions, no puffy cheeks, no uncanny valley weirdness. Just a timeless glow that's either the result of Hollywood science or a genie's last wish. Barbara herself hasn't confessed to anything. She attributes her beauty to good genes, good living, and possibly a well-placed soft focus lens. But fans and surgeons alike suspect there's a little magic involved, just the kind you get at a Beverly Hills clinic. In the end, does it matter? Whether by miracle or microneedling, Barbara Eden remains a symbol of ageless charm. Proof that with enough grace and maybe a few discreet touch-ups, you really can live forever, at least in reruns. Jocelyn Wildenstein, the Catwoman who spent millions to look feline fine. Jocelyn Wildenstein didn't just flirt with plastic surgery, she married it, divorced it, and then sent it alimony payments in cash. Once a glamorous New York socialite, Jocelyn is now more famously known as Catwoman, thanks to a series of surgeries that left her looking like a creature from a luxury zoo. According to her, though, it's all natural. Yep, Jocelyn insists that her wide, feline eyes, puffed cheeks, and permanently startled expression are gifts from Swiss genetics. "My parents looked like cats," she once claimed. Well, that must have been one meow-nificent family photo. But the tabloids, and, well, our eyes, say otherwise. Allegedly, Jocelyn dropped over $4 million on cosmetic procedures to please her then-husband, billionaire art dealer Alec Wildenstein, who had a thing for big cats. Instead of buying him a tiger, she became one. Subtle, right? Her face became the main event at every charity ball and red carpet, less for what she was wearing, more for what she was becoming. Cheek implants, eye lifts, lip stretches, skin tightening. It was like she brought a surgeon's catalog to life. And while most people feared aging, Jocelyn feared looking ordinary. Today, she embraces her cat-tastic image with pride. In fact, she denies ever going under the knife at all, despite an overwhelming amount of evidence that says otherwise. But denial, like filler, is apparently limitless. Love her or loathe her, Jocelyn Wildenstein turned herself into art. Abstract, expensive, and definitely not refundable. Heidi Montag, the reality star who got 10 surgeries in one day and lived to regret it. In Hollywood, reinvention is expected. But Heidi Montag didn't just reinvent, she reassembled. The Laguna Beach and the Hills star dove headfirst into the world of plastic surgery like it was a pool of fame-enhancing elixir. Except instead of glowing up, she nearly lost herself, physically and emotionally. At just 23 years old, Heidi made headlines when she underwent 10 cosmetic procedures in one day. 10 in one sitting. That included a brow lift, chin reduction, nose revision, liposuction, ear pinning, breast augmentation, Botox, and fat injections. Most people can't even finish a to-do list that long. It was marketed as the ultimate glow-up, but the aftermath wasn't so glamorous. The surgery left her in agonizing pain, heavily medicated and emotionally fragile. Instead of feeling beautiful, she felt broken. Her own mother cried when she saw her post-op. America, too, was collectively stunned. Was this what beauty had become? Years later, Heidi admitted what fans suspected all along. She regretted it, deeply. She revealed that she was insecure, vulnerable, and manipulated by the promise of perfection. "I actually wanted to die after the surgeries," she confessed. And just like that, behind the tabloid spectacle was a young woman grappling with self-worth in a world that equates fame with flawlessness. Now older and wiser, Heidi urges young women to think twice before going under the knife. Her story isn't just about one woman's transformation. It's a warning wrapped in glam photos and reality show reruns. Because when the cameras stop rolling, the scars are still there. Joan Van Ark, from Knots Landing to plastic limbo. Joan Van Ark was once the golden girl of television, America's sweetheart with a radiant smile and signature voice that made her unforgettable on Knots Landing. But these days, she's more recognized for what's changed than what remains the same. While Joan has remained tight-lipped, quite literally, about her cosmetic procedures, her face tells a different story. Over the years, fans have watched her delicate features morph into something more sculpted, more glossy. More Melted Wax Museum meets Beverly Hills Experimental Clinic. Plastic surgeons, without ever touching her, speculate a greatest hits playlist, facelifts, cheek implants, brow lifts, Botox, and maybe a dab of collagen here and there. By 2020, the transformation had grown so extreme, she became nearly unrecognizable, even to loyal fans who'd followed her career since the 80s. Some have compared her new look to melted plastic, others simply blink in polite confusion. But Joan, she keeps dancing, literally. She continues to appear at events, smiling, or trying to, unfazed by the whispers. In her mind, perhaps, youth is a mindset, and if your face has to be frozen in the process, so be it. Her case isn't tragic, it's emblematic. Joan Van Ark represents a generation of Hollywood women trapped between fading fame and a scalpel's promise. Her face is no longer just her own, it's a cautionary canvas for all who fear aging more than artifice. In the end, Joan still has what matters, a legacy, a career, and cheekbones that might outlive us all. Carrot Top, the comedian who reshaped more than just his jokes. Scott Thompson, better known as Carrot Top, was once the king of quirky props and chaotic red curls. But somewhere between his first Tonight Show appearance and his long-running Vegas residency, the man with the rubber face started looking, well, a little more rubber than face. His transformation was no laughing matter, unless you count the internet. Once the poster child for wacky, unfiltered comedy, Carrot Top suddenly sported bulging biceps, a jawline sharp enough to slice bread, and a complexion smoother than a wax museum figure on opening night. His fans asked, "Is this still comedy, or is it cosmetic horror?" Critics speculated wildly: Botox, fillers, facelifts, or just a tragic misunderstanding between man and mirror. Even plastic surgeons who'd never laid a scalpel on him weighed in with guesses that read more like a surgical shopping list. And yet, Carrot Top took it all in stride, lifting dumbbells and eyebrows simultaneously. "If I had plastic surgery," he once joked, "wouldn't I look better than this?" Touché. His look might scream sci-fi experiment gone rogue, but his sense of humor never aged. Through every snide headline and every meme that labeled him the mutant gym elf of Vegas, Carrot Top stood firm, veins popping, cheeks puffed, and mic in hand. Because in the end, he's still doing what he's always done, making people stare, laugh, and wonder, what on earth happened to Carrot Top? And maybe that was the punchline all along. Pixie Fox, the real-life cartoon who removed her ribs for a waistline. Pixie Fox doesn't just want to look like a cartoon character, she wants to be one. And no, this isn't cosplay. This is full-on, anesthesia included, scalpel-guided, rib removal reality. Originally from North Carolina, Pixie underwent over 200 cosmetic procedures in her pursuit of perfection. Perfection, in her case, means a 14-inch waist, elf ears, permanently dolled-up lips, and the kind of eyes you only see on anime characters or high-functioning AI. Among her most eyebrow-raising surgeries, removing 6 ribs to achieve the hourglass figure of her dreams. Most people just buy a corset. Pixie called her surgeon. She's had 4 breast augmentations, multiple rounds of liposuction, an eyebrow lift, and even changed her eye color through surgery. A procedure so risky most doctors wouldn't touch it. But Pixie? She's not here for safe. She's here for synthetic fantasy. When she appeared on the TV show Botched, even the unshockable Dr. Dubrow and Dr. Nassif refused further procedures. Imagine being so extreme that Botched says, "Nope." But behind the cartoonish proportions lies a woman absolutely unapologetic. Pixie claims her transformation is a form of self-expression. Why be human, she says, when you can be art? Whether you call it delusion, dedication, or digital age body horror, she's living her truth, one implant at a time. Jo Chunna, the teen who got 100 surgeries before her high school diploma. While most teens worry about acne and algebra, Jo Chunna had a different kind of checklist: double eyelid surgery, rhinoplasty, jaw contouring, cheek fillers, liposuction, and that was just her freshman year. At just 13 years old, Jo convinced her parents to fund her first cosmetic procedure. The motivation? School bullying and a deep belief that beauty equals success. Fast forward 3 years, and Jo had undergone over 100 surgeries, all chronicled meticulously on Weibo, where she became both a sensation and a cautionary tale. Her followers watched as her face evolved like an app filter in real time. Barbie jawlines, V-shaped chins, plump lips, the whole K-pop meets CGI avatar aesthetic. She called it self-improvement. Critics called it surgical obsession. By 17, her family had reportedly spent more than $620,000 on her transformation. That's college tuition or a down payment on a private jet. Instead, it bought her a face that was still healing, scarring, and in some places, numb. Side effects? You bet. Memory loss, nerve damage, and permanent scarring were just a few souvenirs from her beauty pilgrimage. But Jo didn't flinch. She believed the results were worth it, no matter the cost. In a world where beauty goes viral and filters blur the line between fantasy and face, Jo Chunna became a mirror, one showing us just how far youth will go to feel seen. And sometimes that reflection hurts. Lin May, the dancing diva who fell for a face full of baby oil. Lin May was once the sultry queen of Mexican cabaret, a firecracker on stage, a beauty on every screen, and a legend in Latin American pop culture. But when age crept in and the spotlight dimmed, Lin decided she wouldn't go quietly. Instead, she chose to fight back, with needles, scalpels, and what would tragically turn out to be baby oil. Yes, baby oil, the kind you find in a supermarket aisle, not a sterile operating room. Desperate to correct a minor facial abnormality she was born with, Lin trusted the wrong hands. An unlicensed practitioner promised smooth, youthful skin. What she got instead was a cocktail of homemade injections and irreversible damage. Her face began to swell and distort. A slow-motion disaster played out under the gaze of gossip columns and flashing cameras. Photos from her after years show a woman barely recognizable, her once soft features replaced by bulges, asymmetry, and what critics cruelly dubbed a melting mask. The cabaret icon was now a cautionary tale. But Lin, ever the showgirl, never bowed out. She continued dancing, giving interviews, and boldly owning her image, distorted or not. When asked about her face, she shrugged, "It's still mine." Her story is not just about plastic surgery gone wrong. It's about trust betrayed, beauty standards twisted, and the dangerous lengths people go to stay visible in an industry obsessed with youth. In the end, Lin May remains unforgettable, not for the face she lost, but for the unapologetic fire that never left her eyes. April Michelle Brown. April Michelle Brown's harrowing journey began when she sought buttock injections from an underground practitioner, driven by a desire to enhance her appearance. Unfortunately, she was unaware of the serious risks involved in the procedure. The practitioner used industrial-grade silicone, the same substance found in bathroom sealants, which caused catastrophic damage to her body and triggered a severe infection. This infection threatened Michelle's life and required a staggering 27 surgeries to remove the affected tissue and combat the spreading infection. Tragically, the damage was so severe that she had to undergo the amputation of her hands and feet. Despite the overwhelming challenges, Michelle showed incredible resilience, adapting to her new reality with prosthetics. Her story serves as a powerful cautionary tale, highlighting the dangers of unregulated plastic surgery and the risks associated with trusting unqualified individuals. While many seek cost-saving procedures in the black market, Michelle's experience underscores the potentially dire consequences of such decisions. Michelle's determination to embrace her new life, despite her physical challenges, is a testament to the strength of the human spirit. Her journey is a reminder of the importance of prioritizing safety and caution when considering any cosmetic procedure.